good slick tire. It's a Dunlop tire. It is a 260 width section, very sticky rubber. It's a very good tire, I think. And we also have a set of semi-slicks. So the semi-slicks, you'll see it'll have some level of grip. It's not quite a road tire, but it's got some level of grip. Obviously less grip than this, but this can handle a little bit of dampness on the track. You cannot, if it starts drizzling or raining, you just cross and you pray if it's wet. So, if there's a little bit of wet, we can go into semis. We also have a full wet tire. So full wet tire, as the name suggests, is purely for raining purposes, and that's got a lot more grooves. And obviously the grooves are there to help disperse the water. The faster you go, the harder it is to disperse, so the wet tire has a lot more grooves, and it's obviously designed for the wet tire. Tires is also an area that's regulated, and the reason being is so that you don't have people that have an infinite budget buying all the tires and then having the best grip. So how it works is, for every race weekend, the series then allocates you a set of tires. Sometimes it's only 2 brand new tires, other times you get a full set of tires. Okay, and then how that works is, you'll put on your fresh pair of tires, you'll qualify on the same set, you'll then do race 1 and race 2 on the same set. Okay, then after that, when you go to the next event, you're allowed to practice on those same set of tires, and then when it comes to quali, race 1 and race 2, you then get another set of tires. So that's how it works. And 95 octane from Astron. Everybody has to use the same petrol, so there's no special fuel that people get. You can't add octane, and if you do add octane, the onboard EC will be able to pick those kinds of things up. So there's no cheating. You know what I mean? So fuel is the same. You all get it from Astron Energy. So it depends, right? So there's a couple of things. So sprint racing, the races are quite short. They're about 20 minutes per race. So having said that, we do use the standard fuel tank, which is these call it, I think it's a 50-liter fuel tank, but we don't run anywhere near that. Because remember, we want to be as light as possible, so we'll only use as much fuel as we need to make it through the race or the qualifying or the session. You get what I'm saying? So in endurance racing, you obviously want to go as far as possible before pitting. You can't quite see here, but there's an additional fuel tank or a fuel cell that you can load in the car that will give you an additional 100 liters of fuel. So yeah, I mean, typically when I did Kyalami, I think I raced for about an hour and 40 minutes before pitting my first pit stop. So hour and 40 minutes, you come in, then they refill, over 100 liters of fuel goes in, driver change happens, then the next driver goes out, and then you repeat that until you come back in again. Fortunate to have driven a lot of fast cars. Okay. This car as a package is absolutely rapid and it is complete. So there are faster cars that aren't anywhere near as fun to drive as this. So it's a small package, it is rapid for what it is, it's throwable, it's truckable, it's probably got one of the best brakes of any race car I've ever felt. It's just, look how big the brakes are in this tacky, right? So you got a super grippy tire with a really big brake pad and disc setup, and this thing stops, it almost wants to rip your face off. So my favorite moments are when we put another seat in the passenger seat and we have customers go, and the first thing they always say is, this thing stops, just stops the eyes that come out the sockets, and then you accelerate and it comes back into the sockets. You know what I mean? So absolute amazing package. Absolutely not. It's not built for that. I mean, the car is, it may not look too low, but I mean, it's low, it's stiff. It's obviously not roadworthy, so you would, even if you wanted to, you're not allowed to. The steering angle is also very limited. So obviously these cars don't have an ignition, they don't have like a key switch or anything like that, right? So basically just a switch on the PDM, gives power to everything. Okay, we have power now. Okay, so have a look at the steering. That's all you got. It's not even a full turn. if you were to try and get to the garage, you know, you'd be making like a 7-8 point turn just to try and forward, reverse, just to get into the garage. Never mind just, you know, getting out of a parking. So purely just to keep things cool. So there's an intercooler here, and then there's sprayers down at the bottom. So you can imagine when you're racing a whole bunch of cars, there's a lot of bumper to bumper action. So what happens when you're bumper to bumper? There's no airflow getting into the front of the car. So the cars do tend to run a little bit hot. So there are little water jets inside just to spray water onto the intercooler just to drop the temperatures. So cockpit will get over 40 degrees, fine. Right? Then you're wearing a fireproof Nomex, which is an underskin underneath, then a really thick suit. So how hot does it get? I don't know. But let me tell you, when I get out, I mean, I feel like I'm 3 kilos heavier just from the sweat. You know what I'm saying?